Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. I am Katrina Renee, your faith-based life coach. I am here. I'm the owner of Push Now, which stands for Pick Up Someone Hurting. This is part 2 of our Heal the Hurt series. Today we're going to discuss the what did they do to hurt you. In the first series, we talked about who. I gave you a snippet of my life. I told you how in 2012 I was ready to end it all. 2016, I went through a new healing phase. In 2020, it was when I finally healed. So it took me 8 years to heal the hurt. I had been hurting and depressed from the age of 5 to 35. I remember my psychologist telling me that I was depressed from the age of 10. But if I sat and thought back when I wrote the book, I was really starting my depression about the age of 5. And at the time I was told I had been depressed that long, I was 35. So for 30 years, I carried around a lot of trauma. I am a faith-based life coach, and I am here to help women release childhood trauma so that way they can live the life that they've always been destined to live. This YouTube series was created off the workbook journal that I created, Heal the Hurt. In that journal, I talk about who hurt me, what they did to hurt me, when they hurt me, where I was at when they hurt me, and then how long I carried that hurt around. And in the first part of the who, I expressed that if I had to be open, honest, and transparent, my mom was the one who hurt me the worst. And in there, I asked that you get into a safe space, a quiet space, get a pen and a journal, be open, honest, and be transparent with yourself, so that way you can start working on this healing journey. I am here to help you heal all the way through. Healing doesn't come overnight. As you see, I just told you I started mine in 2012. I wasn't fully healed until 2020. 8 years it took me to heal. That's a long time. And that was for 30 years of hurt, chaos, and turmoil that I had been carrying around all that time. And it all started in my childhood. I had got so good at wearing a mask and just suppressing stuff, and it just became second nature to me. Like I was that spirit called Leviathan, which is pride. Oh, he ran my life for a long time. My pride, Leviathan, you could have just called me Leviathan, I probably would have answered, because that is how heavy the depression was. And I didn't want nobody to know what I was going through. And why? Because I didn't have nobody to trust. I didn't have nobody to open up to. I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't have a safe space. I didn't have any of that. My trust issues was so messed up because I had scorned every relationship that I had been in, because I just didn't know how to have a relationship, a healthy relationship, shall I say. And that came from all the chaos and stuff that I went through in my life. I just didn't know how. And so I suppressed a lot of stuff. And I would come out when everything seemed better, and then something else would happen. I would suppress it again. So my life was a repeated cycle. The chaos that came along with it might have been different, but how I handled it was just the same all over again. So today, part series 2, where I'm going to discuss what did they do to hurt me. Now, by the time I was 5, I had to sustain emotional abuse, which came from my mother, because I felt unloved, unwanted, neglected. And then I had the physical abuse. Let me rephrase that. It wasn't physical. I retract that. The physical abuse came in my teenage years. It was the sexual abuse between the age of 5 and 6. And then the verbal abuse. That is the one that stuck with me the most. And if you watch part 1, I said sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt. All my life I believed that. But then as I started thinking back, that is the thing that hurt me the most, is what somebody said. And in my Heal the Hurt book, I say a few lines. I tell you about my aunt. One of them completely dismissed me. I'm a teenage mom, becoming a teenage mom, still trying to go to school, living with my kid's father and his mother. At this time, I'm in a physical abusive relationship, still emotional because I don't have anyone. And then for her to say, oh, I didn't know you were still going to school. Never called again, asked for a ride to school. Then, my one aunt who welcomed me at first, because I'm a teenage mom, she's like, oh, well, you can bring the baby out here whenever, blah blah blah. Well, she was in her feelings one day, and bam, don't be bringing this effing baby, don't be bringing this mfing baby around here. Ain't this my house? Ain't no daycare. We ain't about to be da 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 da. Pause, stop, halt. I didn't ask for a babysitter after that. And so then there was the verbal abuse. I had the physical abuse from my kid's father. I had enough of that. And finally, I stood my ground with him and was like, listen, My own father hasn't hit me a day in my life, and I'm not about to allow you to keep putting your hands on me. And I distinctly remember telling him, I'm not about to have you putting your hands on me and have me looking old before my time. And I thank God that I don't look like what I've been through. Because, baby, when I say this life of mine has been rough, oh, it's been rough. And I'm sure some have been worse than others. But for me, 2012, I was ready to just say F it and forget it and just end it all. But the one thing that kept me grounded was thinking about who was going to take care of my children. I had 4 young men at the time, 2 different baby daddies. One was incarcerated. And knowing me being the only child being bounced from house to house, I'm like, my kids going to be separated. Who's going to love them like I do? And that right there was my breaking point. That the weakness that I used to have became my strength. So I used them to better myself. Took a long while, but I still managed to do it. And then there was me and my favorite cousin. It was something that she said in a heated argument that stuck with me for a long time. Even though we had made amends and had reconciled, it was the fact that because of how my life was going, I felt like I was cursed. And yeah, for every action, there's a reaction. And we had got into a heated argument. And I mean heated. But it was the words that she said that's why you ain't shit and you'll never be shit. That stuck with me for a long time because of how my life was going. I really felt like I was really about to be just that person. I wasn't about to be nothing. And not knowing that words are curses. And so I had to renounce that off of my life and reject it in order for me to be able to live a transparent life. And so, but I think the one that really truly hurt me the most was my grandmother. Her verbal abuse for me and what she used to say. This lady, I know she loved me. I was her only grandchild. But again, she was an alcoholic. And she used to always tell me a drunk will speak a sober mind. So when she was drunk, she would say all types of lavish stuff to me. So then I'm trying to figure out, did you mean this or are you really speaking what you want to say when you're sober? So it let me be confused. And I was a teenager at the time. So going through all of that, having all those mixed emotions, and it was a lot for me. And I never truly knew how to process my feelings. All I knew is that I could suppress stuff. And I knew deep down inside that she loved me. But at the same time, I'm questioning the love that she had for me because of her own words that she would tell me and how she was acting and responding to me. And so I used to let people say all types of stuff to me, and it really would crush my soul, but I never would say anything. I never would say anything. And that shaped me and informed me, and it allowed, and a lot of people used to just walk all over me like I was a doormat because I would not say absolutely anything. Because of the verbal abuse that I sustained. Because you can go through the emotional abuse, the physical abuse. You can heal and push through all of that. The physical abuse, the scars will go away. They will go away. And then you won't even be able to see where that bruise was. The emotional abuse, once you heal, it just goes away. You don't forget it, but you know, you still linger and it still remember. But the words, they sink into your memory bank. And then they become part of your life, and you wonder, how much of that did they really ever truly mean? Did they say it out of anger, hurt? You know, that saying, hurt people hurt people. That's a true statement. It is. And so when they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt, that's an absolute lie. They hurt the worst, at least for me. If I'm being open, honest, and transparent, the verbal abuse hurt for me because I was so fragile. I was dying on the inside, wearing a mask on the outside. So that verbal abuse, I was always in my thoughts. And so that verbal abuse always just lingered. I would just replay it over and over and over and over again. And that became my life and my reality, is what people said of me. Until I learned to love me for me and go through that healing phase and realize I am worthy. I am something. I am going to be somebody. God didn't create me to be nothing or nobody. He didn't create none of us to go through none of that. We all go through different trials and tribulations in life because it molds us into being the person that He needs us to be. And so all that childhood trauma that I sustained, Now look at me. I'm a faith-based coach here to help you heal through your hurt, because I healed through mine, and now I'm here to help you heal through yours. So that I took my pain and turned it into my purpose, and I found my calling, and I thank God for it, because I've always had this passion to help people. I just didn't know it would be in this magnitude of helping people. So the verbal abuse is what sustained me the most. Even though I went through the physical, I went through the emotional, which led to my mental. I just lost my train of thought, but all of that, the verbal, the sexual, physical, the emotional, all led to my mental. And I was mentally messed up for a long time. Looking at me, you wouldn't be able to tell, because that mask, I wore it proudly. I wore it proudly. I wore it proudly. And then I see why it doesn't pay to lie, because I remember back then I was lying, or at least I was trying to. And I couldn't remember the lie that I told to tell that, to cover up that lie. So I had to think about the last conversation. When you got a lot going on, I don't know about y'all, but for me, my mind wouldn't allow me to process all that quick. So I would stall, I would hide, I would duck and dive. I would just do all types of crazy stuff. And my life was just chaotic because of the mask that I wore, the feelings that I suppressed, not dealing with it, living in nothing but hurt, surviving, just existing, not even knowing what I'm doing, where I'm going, how I'm about to go about, like none of that. Running from job to job, all these failed relationships, trying to fit in places where I didn't belong. Just, my life was just a mess.com is what it was. And until 2020, like I said in part 1, I went through 3 different phases. 2012, I was ready to end it all, but then something in me, just my children is what it was, wouldn't allow me to do it. My mind just wouldn't let me go. 2016, packed up my whole house and just moved. No place to go, nothing in sight, not a game plan, no nothing. 2020, I couldn't go back to 2012 when they shut the world down, so I had to do something different. And that's when I did. It got that last final piece of healing, and it was like the exorcism. So like I said in part 1, healing isn't easy at all. But if you're ready and you're willing and you're ready to be transparent, you're ready to be open and honest with yourself, I'm here to walk you through this journey. Heal the Hurt is a great workbook journal. And if you don't want to purchase that, I recommend that you get your own pencil and paper, get a safe space, quiet place, and just hone in on your thoughts and how you're feeling. Your feelings are valid. They're yours. Can't nobody tell you how to feel, how you should feel, or what to feel. Because again, these are your feelings and they're valid. And it's time to heal and to be the person that you were destined to be. And you don't have to hold on to this hurt and keep it going. So in this moment, I want you to think about what happened to you that caused you to feel the way that you're feeling. What was it that they did? Was it emotional? Was it physical abuse? Was it sexual abuse? Was it, because all that leads to mental. Was it verbal abuse like me that hurt me the most? What was it that happened in your life? Was it the loss of a loved one? Was it, it's a lot of things in life that I don't want to kind of like touch base on. But if you need to, you can book a session with me. We can talk about that. But just to keep things transparent and keep it on surface level, we can go deep when you want to. But right now I'm just expressing the things that I went through and what caused me a lot of hurt. Now, I've experienced death, lost some bonus sons. The one in 2019, it turned me into, I felt like the devil's advocate. I was ready to go kill up the whole city. I was ready to go kill up the whole city because I was just that torn. I was just that hurt. And in 2019, a lot happened. It was a spiral downfall starting in June to December. Those 6 months was horrible. It was horrible. So I've sustained a lot. I've been through a lot. And I've hurt a lot. But I've learned to let it go. I've learned to not hold on to it. I've learned to forgive. Not forget, but forgive. Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. To release yourself so that way they don't have the power over you by you not forgiving. I don't hold grudges. None of that. Because everything I went through has shaped me and formed me into the person, the woman that I am today. And again, I'm here to help you heal the hurt, walk through this journey, because you're not alone. There's others out there like us who've been hurting. And I've sustained hurt for 30 years. And if you're holding on to it, I just want to encourage you to let's get healing. There's a whole beautiful world out there, but you can't see it when you're hurting. When you weren't living behind a mask, you got to pull the mask off. So be open, be honest, and be transparent. Go back and watch series 1 to look at who hurt you. Then come back to what did they do to hurt you. And then, just take the time that you need. Take the time that you need to write it out. And whatever emotions come up, just let it go. Let it flow. If it becomes too much, too heavy, call on Jesus. Ask him to take the wheel. Ask him to lighten the load. I've done it multiple times. I continue to do it all the time when I get to those emotional states of mind, because it's life. Life throws us curveballs. It's what we do with those balls to get through those things. So again, I'm Coach Katrina Renee, your faith-based life coach. I'm here to help you heal the childhood trauma. I can be found at pushnow.org. Sign up for the newsletter. Send me your contact information. Book a session with me, a one-on-one consult if that's what you need. You can email me at info@pushnow.org. Give me 24 to 48 hours to respond. But I'm here to help you heal the hurt, and we're going to walk through this journey together, hand in hand. So take care, be open, be honest, and be transparent. I'll see you next Wednesday at 3 o'clock for the next series.